Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hall of Games podcast, a show for people who play video games and enjoy hearing others talk about them. In today's memory card episode, I speak to Breanna Harami, a writer and content creator based in California. We had a ton of fun recording this episode, so I very much hope you all enjoy memory card number 3. Hello and welcome back to the Hall of Games podcast. I'm Sam Hall, and for this memory card episode, I am joined by a writer, a content creator, a cat lover, and a co-host of dozens of Save the Game Media podcasts. It's Breanna Harami.
Hi. Oh my gosh. That was an incredible introduction, and you pronounced my name right, which for some reason is like really hard for people.
Yeah, I mean, I did worry about that a little bit, but
yeah.
Glad.
No, you definitely pronounced it right. It really is just pronounced how it's spelled. So
yeah,
I'm confused by the confusion.
Okay, so yeah, quick reminder for anyone listening. As with all memory card episodes, I will be asking Bree 11 questions about their life through the games that they've played. So before we dive into the official questions, what are you playing at the moment, Bree?
Oh, that's such a good question. I'm so proud of myself, you guys. I beat a game, which for anybody that knows me knows is a very rare occurrence.
Yeah.
I beat Lies of P.
Wow.
And I'm now moved on to the DLC. So it's technically still more to play, but I beat the game. So it counts for something.
That counts, yeah. Credits.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I am technically playing Blueprints still off and on, but it's such a huge game that I just sometimes I'm like, okay, I need a minute. So
yeah, it is a huge game, and I'm glad you brought it up and not me, because I keep getting ribbed for bringing it up less than 5 minutes into the podcast.
Yeah, I have to bring it up. It's so good.
So yeah, how far through Blueprints are you? I guess you've gone past credits.
Yeah, so I rolled credits. I've made it into the room a second time. I'm now like opening the doors under. I'm like trying to be vague, so
I know. Yeah, I understand.
It's a weird thing to talk about. I've gotten one of the sigils. I think I might have a second, but I don't have the door that like would correlate with it.
Right.
Not that I know which door it is, but I think I have like a second sigil to try out whenever I find the appropriate door. So somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm similar. I think I've got 2 sigil doors open or whatever at the minute.
It's hard. It
is really hard.
I think the one that I'm like really, really want to get is like the classrooms. I haven't been to all of the classrooms, and it's so hard to get to all of them.
Yeah.
I
like the classrooms. I think I got to like classroom 5 or something is the furthest I've got. So
I think I got to 3.
Yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, I'm curious as to like what is in the higher classrooms and whether it will sort of open any doors in my brain. Okay, so I guess we'll dive into the memory card questions then.
Okay, so, sounds good.
Bree, what was your first games console?
So I actually had to ask my dad about this because my dad is the one that has like kind of facilitated my gaming hobby. And I couldn't quite remember because I remember playing a couple things when I was really young, but I was like, which one was like the first one? He has confirmed that my first console was the original Game Boy.
Oh, wow.
So very long time ago. So yeah, that's what I started with. And the other one that I was trying to remember was because I couldn't remember if I had played the N64 as well, but he said that one was probably second or third. So.
And what was the first game you remember playing? I assume on Game Boy.
Yeah. So I have a fake answer just because I think it's fun. But like some of my like oldest memories are of watching my dad play video games, so not stuff that I necessarily remember playing, but he was a PC gamer a long time ago. Long time ago. He doesn't do it anymore, but he played like the original Halo, and he also played like Doom 3, and I specifically remember him playing Doom 3. So nice. That's my fake answer because I think that's like one of like my core memories is like getting scared of the game and like being like a little kid hanging out with my dad. The real answer is Kirby Dreamland.
Wow.
So that would be my first game. I did clarify that one with my dad because I also remember playing a Mario game, and he said I think you would have done Kirby first. So
yeah. That's awesome. I'm quite jealous. I wish I was more of a Nintendo kid when I was younger. I was definitely more PlayStation, but my sister, she had a Game Boy Color, and I remember playing like Pokemon Pinball or something on that, and just I loved that.
Yeah, I think for the first like 8-ish years of my life, I was like mostly Nintendo consoles. So I enjoyed it.
That's awesome. What is your favorite game of all time? Big question.
Yeah, see, this is one of the ones that I like kind of dread, where it's like, what, because this can change at any given point in time. It can like if you want to get really into the weeds of it, like you have to define like what favorite means to you, like stuff like that. And I don't want to get too crazy with it. I want to give 3 shout outs really quick, honorable mentions, because they do like stick in my favorite games. Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Love those games so much. They mean a lot to me. Near Automata or Automata, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I don't care which one. And then Outer Wilds, because that game is such an incredible experience. So
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great
So those are my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And then my favorite game is basically any Soulsborne game, but if I have to pick, it's Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
I love that game so much. The gameplay loop of that game, like the exploration, the world building, I don't know, that whole game is like, I have played it so many times and I will continue to replay it so many times. I don't get sick of it. So
No, okay. I didn't actually know you were such a Souls fan. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm not great at them, but I love them.
Who is, honestly? I've only played Demon Souls and Elden Ring from the Souls series, I guess. But what makes Dark Souls 3 better than 1 and 2, do you think?
Well, so 2 is kind of known as being broken. Like it now has the first Scholar DLC, or like I guess edition, that like fixed the game somewhat, but basically Miyazaki just didn't really have too much to do with Dark Souls 2. And FromSoft very much we're hurt from him not being him not participating in that. So Dark Souls 2, I've never met anybody that is like, this is my favorite game of the Souls series. So that one is easy. You can just like kind of cut that one out and put it to the side. The first one, I think, is such an incredible experience that I think everybody really, if you can play Souls-like games, then I think everybody really should experience that, because it's such a unique experience, especially with the way that like there's like this whole loop that happens that's like, you're not even in the game until like you get past this like particular boss, which is like very Souls games, but like that whole loop, and then the way that they were able to keep the game so small, just in their really clever level design, is like one of the craziest things to experience, because you'll be wandering and you're like, I am 10 miles from like my home bonfire, and then all of a sudden you like go up a little elevator and you're like, how am I here? It's so incredible to experience. So I really do love Dark Souls 1, but there's some clunky things with it, like specifically like Blight Town and stuff like that kind of not like degrade the game, but like Dark Souls 3 doesn't have those issues. And so, yeah, it's like benefiting from being like a newer game. It also just has so many really cool things where it's like, it was my first Souls game that I really liked, that I really like connected with. It's a newer game. It has my favorite boss fights. It has some really cool world building that builds off of the original Dark Souls in ways that you don't even really understand or realize unless you do like a little bit of work to like kind of understand like, oh, this is the character from such and such, because it's like,
Mm.
I don't think it's exactly 1,000 years after the first game, but it's like something like that, where it's like a really, really long time, and it's it's really cool. And then like the DLC has so many cool moments. I don't know. It's just such a perfect experience.
Okay, no, that's a good summary. I need to get around to them at some point.
You should.
Yeah.
You should. If you try and do Dark Souls 1 and you're
Mm.
like, this is just smacking me in the face and I can't do it, I would do Dark Souls 3 first and then go back to 1, because that's what I
Really?
had to
Okay.
do.
See
Yeah.
that's what I'm curious about, because I played the Demon Souls remake. That was the
It's
first
so
one
good.
I ever played. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it did. I got stuck at like several moments. I've still not finished it. So maybe I'll finish that first. Maybe that's my plan, and then I'll
I
move
need to
on to
finish that one
Bloodborne.
too, so.
But yeah.
Yeah, see, I need them to redo the first game
Yeah,
in
that's
the
what I'm
same
thinking.
manner that they did Demon Souls. And every time I bring this up, my podcast co-hosts, Taylor and Sam, they like get mad at me. They're like, no, they need to redo Bloodborne. I'm like, Bloodborne's newer.
Yeah,
It's fine as it is. Like, you need to fully remake the first one. Oh, I get so
yeah.
mad at them.
The only
Really
thing
fired over
I
it.
understand what they're saying, because there's no. Am I right in thinking there's no way, or at least no legitimate way, to play Bloodborne at 60 frames per second, unless you have like
There isn't.
unless you have like a jailbroken PlayStation 5 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Dark Souls 1, get it remade. Come on, Blue Point. They've got to be
Mm-hmm.
doing something. Surely that's
Yeah.
what they're doing. Yeah.
I hope so, please.
Me too.
I need it.
What game do you have the most hours in, and how many hours?
So I have two answers for this, because one is kind of embarrassing and one I'm not embarrassed about. So the first one that's embarrassing to me is League, and it's also not 100% accurate, because League doesn't actually track how many hours you play, probably because it is depressing. But they
Yeah.
have like softwares online that you can like put your user ID in, and it kind of calculates based on the average game time and how many games you've played.
Makes sense.
So this isn't like the real number, but it's as close to the real number as I'll ever get. I've played League of Legends for about 4,000 hours.
Oh, that's good. That's not embarrassing. That's good. It's impressive. It's impressive, really.
See, due to the way that League of Legends is so toxic, I have such a weird relationship with it, where it's like I love it so much and I also hate it so much. And I will never recommend it to anybody, but as soon as I hear somebody plays it, I like immediately I'm like, do you want to play with me? Play with me? Because I'm like, nobody plays it, but I won't recommend it to anybody because it's so toxic. The other answer that is like something I'm more proud of is I have just over like 1,600 hours on my PC in Final Fantasy 14, and then I have another 500-ish on my PlayStation for Final Fantasy 14.
Wow.
So
That's
about 2,000.
So admittedly I don't know a lot about the Final Fantasy series. I mean, I've played some of the original 7, as in Final Fantasy 7, and some of the remake as well. How do you spend that many hours in that game? Genuinely?
Yeah, so Final Fantasy 14 is an MMO.
Okay.
So that's how.
That's how. I should have known that.
So they have 2 MMOs. I think it's 2 in the whole series. Not that I've played like basically any other Final Fantasy game. I kind of played a little bit of 16. I've kind of played a little bit of other ones, but 14 is definitely like where I've spent the most time. But yeah, it's just a matter of like you do your daily quests to level up characters. Like the content of the game itself is also really huge, because they for real have like hour-plus long cutscenes that they will warn you before you start this cutscene. You cannot stop this cutscene.
Oh, I appreciate that warning there. That's gonna be great.
Yes, I appreciate the warning, and it's also incredibly long, like
Yeah.
hour and a half, 2 hours, like anyway. So they do really long cutscenes, so that's also part of it. And it's also just like repetition of like doing like those high-end raids that are really difficult, so you have to like run them multiple times to succeed, stuff like that. That's one that like I will preach the religion of Final Fantasy 14. So if you do ever need help getting into it, let me know. Because I will help on that one.
Thank you.
League, I'll play with you, but I won't get you into it.
I've heard from enough people never to play League that I think I'll pass.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you though. What is a popular game you have not played yet but want to?
Yeah, so there's so many of these. I like I've said already, like I'm really, really bad at finishing games. Like it's almost like a skill, and it's a shock when I do finish games. So, like there's a huge list of these games. I will say you did bring up earlier Disco Elysium. That one's a really big pain point on my list where it's like I know I have to play that game, and I haven't, and
Oh, it's good.
at some point I'll play it. A couple others. Witcher 3 is another one that like my writing mentor from college really wanted me to play, and I haven't played that one yet. So that sucks. I've never beat a Legend of Zelda game.
Oh wow, not a single one.
Not a single one. I've played a bunch, but I get to the final boss fight and then I just stop.
Okay. That's impressive.
I've done this with multiple Legend of Zelda games. I need to play Baldur's Gate 3, but I know the moment I download it, I will not be a functioning human being for at least a month.
Yeah.
And then Last of Us 2, I haven't beat yet.
Oh, what? Oh my gosh.
Devastating for everybody involved.
Oh my, are you watching this series as well?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Where did you get up to in Last of Us Part 2? I mean, kind of careful of spoilers. You can.
Yeah. So I got to one of the boat rides. It's when there's a really, really bad storm.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah. So, yeah, you got quite far through, but wow, you need to play the rest of that game.
Yeah, it's a really unfortunate circumstance where I was playing it with my ex, and then we broke up, and then the playthrough was kind of like really weird after that because like we were still living together, but we were broken up, so we like kind of tried to play a couple times, but it was like just weird. And then that playthrough kind of felt like tainted and weird.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I can just play it, like it's fine. And then now it's been like 4 or 5 years since I played it, and I'm like, I think I have to restart it now.
You'd have to restart it, I think. I'm afraid.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate. Yeah, you mentioned Disco Elysium. Yeah, you should play that game. It's great. It's definitely up there with one of my favorite games of all time. It's yeah, like everyone says, I guess the writing's incredible. The final cut as well with all the voice acting, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, see, I think I own the final cut.
Yeah,
on my PC.
It's always on sale, and I think it was on PS Plus at one point, possibly as well.
It might have been.
But yeah, definitely give that a go.
Yep, I need to. That one's a pain point.
Yeah. What is a popular game you will never play?
A popular game I'll never play is Hollow Knight Silksong because it's never freaking coming
out. Oh, I see. Okay. You had me for a minute.
No. I'm just kidding. It's coming out at some point, theoretically. I really want to play that game. My real answer is basically any FPS. There's a couple of FPS that have slipped it through the cracks. But I'm really, really bad at them to the point where, like, one time my ex was watching me play Valorant and he goes, "What are you aiming at?" It was really embarrassing. Anyways, I'm really bad at FPS. And I also don't think I'll ever really play GTA. That's a really, really popular series, and it's gonna miss me on that one. So
yeah, that's fair. You've never played any of the GTAs, not even the older ones.
Wow. No, I've watched my ex play it because he would play it for hours and hours with his brother and his cousin.
Yeah.
But like it just isn't something like I would watch it, and it's kind of like it feels like watching boys like at the park. You're like,
yeah,
I want to participate in that.
I do kind of know what you mean. I think I think if most people hadn't played it in like their teenage years, I think people would be less inclined to play those games. But saying that, Rockstar are just so good with like detail and graphical fidelity and stuff to do in an open world. Yeah, I'm very excited for GTA 6. But what game had the biggest impact on you, perhaps due to the circumstances around you as you played it?
So this one was one of the ones that like I had a couple of answers for. I tried to limit myself just because like there have been so many moments where it's like this game has kind of had a really big impact on me in different ways. The two that I specifically want to mention is one, Kingdom Hearts. I am convinced that there were like some sort of like chemicals or something in that video game that rewired my entire brain, and like I've not been the same since.
Mm.
I haven't quite figured out what they did with that game to do so, but it seems like everybody that's played Kingdom Hearts has the same mental illnesses. So
Yeah, yeah, I have heard that from people. So maybe I need to give that
yeah.
one a go as well.
Oh, it's incredible. People do make fun of like how complex the story is, and I will admit that the game, like the story is really complex, but I think that there's just something so pure and magical about like this like trio of friends that kind of like they like get taken away from their island and they're just trying to get back home and like save their friends, right? And then they like go through Disney worlds.
Yeah.
Like that's such like a weird and like quaint story. Like you see random like Final Fantasy characters that are also locked away in these Disney worlds.
Yeah.
It's just such a bizarre thing that if it didn't exist and somebody explained it to you, it would make no sense. And
Yeah.
it's such magic. I love
Yeah,
it.
it sort of did the multiverse thing before it was cool.
Yeah, it absolutely did.
That's interesting.
That's a perfect way to put it. The other game that I would say had like one of the biggest impacts on me is probably the original Last of Us. It actually had, I would say, an impact at like multiple points in my life. The first impact that it really had was so just for context, my mom has been married twice. Her second divorce really was like rough on my family, and she like we couldn't afford like the house payment. We were living with my grandparents. She wasn't doing well. She wasn't making a lot of money, kind of stuff like that. And so like on like for Christmas, I ended up getting a PlayStation 3. And I was completely shocked because I wasn't expecting anything like that. And I wanted one so badly because I'd completely missed the PlayStation 3 generation until the very end of it. And I wanted it so badly. And so like I just remember being like so astonished that my mom had like set aside money for this and had saved for this. And the game that she got me was The Last of Us because she knew how much I wanted to play that game. And then when I actually in practicality started playing that game, I had never really played anything like The Last of Us that was like I'd played scary games, but nothing that really stressed me out the way that The Last of Us did. And I was in a basement. And so I would run upstairs, like I would literally pause the game, sprint upstairs, and be like, "Mom, it was so scary!" Like, I would like go tell her about it, and then I'd be like, "Okay, I feel better now. I'm gonna go back and play."
Just
So
using like the Pomodoro technique playing Last of Us. De-stress for 5 minutes.
That's exactly what I did. So that was like kind of my first experience with the game. The second time that kind of came into orbit with my life is actually during college. I took a college class that was a high level college class from a professor named Alf Seeger at the University of Utah. If you ever have any chance to take any sort of lecture, class, anything from him, I think that he is one of the best teachers to ever be on this planet. He is incredible and really, really smart. But he's an English professor, but he teaches literature and video games because he's really passionate about video games. Yeah. He also did a Lord of the Rings class, fun fact, and I now know way too much about Lord of the Rings. So,
wow.
But he did like a high-end literature class that was reading books as well as playing games at the same time and kind of like layering those two things together. And we ended up playing The Last of Us as part of that game. And just like the discussion that happened in that class and like kind of understanding like all of like the imagery, like because it was very much like that English literature, like imagery, what does this mean? Like all that stuff. And I got to do that with The Last of Us.
What does a curtain mean? Yeah.
It was so incredible. Like the way that, like, for just as an example, when you're in the hospital and you're running away, you're moving away from the light. And that's the direction that he's always running. And that's like such a interesting symbolism of like one, the light because they're the fireflies, and one like light is usually in video games. It's like the term is called like the weenie, which is funny, but like it's called the weenie. And so like that's what usually light is it's like, hey, you need to go this way, but it's actually the opposite.
That's really interesting. I don't obviously I must have noticed like I guess that your running into darkness. But I never thought about it like in a video game. You're obviously always heading towards the light, and especially in Last of Us, they do that so well, where they use light as the yellow paint or whatever. So yeah, that's really interesting that they sort of flipped that for the end. That's really cool. That's a really cool story.
That's one. Yeah, we had like this huge long discussion. There's so much other stuff that I just know about The Last of Us now because of like all of that. Like, and it's like I know that people a lot of the times don't like those English discussions, but when it's in relation to video games, I find it so incredible. I really enjoyed that class. So that was like the other time that Last of Us like had a huge impact on my life because I was like, man, games are so cool. Games are so cool.
So cool. So, yeah, that's really cool. I love that you both of these stories really sweet stories, but I love that I love that you were able to talk about video games in a group of how many people are in this class?
It was a really small class because it was like a specialty class. I think there was 20 people.
Oh, that's lovely. That sounds awesome.
It was incredible. Again, if anybody for whatever reason is at the University of Utah listening to this, or you have an opportunity, Alf Seeger is incredible. He's incredible.
Okay, I'll just get a quick flight.
Go to Utah. I don't know if you want to go.
No, I don't know. That's probably not the right time to be flying to America. Oh, What is your hot take game? The game at which you disagree the most with its critical reception?
So this is actually something that we've been banned from, like not really actually banned from it, but like ironically and funny, we've been banned from talking about it at Save the Game Media because it starts fights every time.
Oh boy.
But my hot take, apparently, I don't think it's a hot take, but apparently it is that Callisto Protocol is a waste of time and a garbage game. I feel very strongly about this. Yeah. And everybody else at Save the Game Media is like, well, it's not that bad.
Interesting. I've not played it, so explain to me why it's because in my head, from an outsider's perspective, it just seems like a much worse Dead Space.
Yeah, so I did play the Dead Space remake, also didn't love it, so
same.
There's that. So yeah, it is a much worse Dead Space, but the thing that really, really pissed me off was the combat system. And I did actually beat Callisto Protocol because I was already, before I even beat the game, fighting with my co-hosts, and they're like, well, you just have to beat the game and then we'll believe you. And so I beat that game out of spite. And like pure spite. And like so the combat system, the way it works is that it's like kind of like a boxing system almost. Like it's like they punch at you and you dodge like left and right, and so you have to use your left stick to like move left and right, or you just hold back and it dodges for you. And I'm not kidding.
Okay.
And one, hated the dodging mechanic. It was garbage. And so I just used the automatic dodge, and that was also garbage. Yeah. And I never was scared at any point because it's like I knew if an enemy jumped out at me, I just would auto dodge.
Yeah. How strange.
And the last boss fight took me hours because it was so bad. It was so horribly bad. I hate that game. I hate that game so much.
I was really looking forward to that game when it first got announced, because I can't remember if I'd played Dead Space Remake at that point or not. Well, probably not when it was
Dead Space Remake, I think, came after.
Oh, did it come out after? Okay, definitely.
I think so.
Didn't then.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it was definitely around a similar time, because I think I decided to just play Dead Space Remake instead of Callisto Protocol. But I was really looking forward to it because I'm pretty sure it had Karen Fukuhara in it from The Boys. I think she was in that game.
Listen, I was so into this. Yeah, they came out about a month apart from each other, and Dead Space Remake came out about a month later. It came out January 2023. So.
Okay. So people would have already known it was coming out as well. So there's that, which is probably what I did. I probably let Callisto Protocol come out, saw the reviews, and thought, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wouldn't even spend like sale money on it. I wouldn't like if they paid me to play it again, I'd say no.
Okay.
Like I do not like this game. It's so bad. But I was there. Like I'm pretty sure there was like a podcast thing. I like was listening to that. I was like in the world. I was like really excited about it, and
Yeah, they had like everything going for it, and then yeah, it just didn't live up to it, I guess.
No,
I don't
yeah, it
think.
was like so bad.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone though. Like I don't. It's not too much of a hot take. It clearly is with the rest of Save the Game media, but I'm pretty sure the general reception was like, I guess it was like sevens or sixes, I think.
Mm.
But yeah, okay, I like that.
Yeah, so that's like my hot take, just because we are always fighting about it, like for
Yeah.
real, always fighting about it to the point where Kevin's like, just stop bringing it up.
I love
So,
that. I love that.
mm.
What upcoming game are you most looking forward to playing?
Oh, there's so many good games coming out. I'm very
Yeah.
excited about so many. I have to shout out Intergalactic. I love
Mm.
Naughty Dog. Very much looking forward to it. I'm not a sci-fi person, but it's Naughty Dog, so like, who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
Saros, I'm really looking forward to. Love Rahul Kohli.
Yeah.
Loved Returnal. Those two things together sound incredible.
Yeah.
Um, I also want to shout out whatever that Outer Wilds team is doing next.
Oh
I'm
my god.
really looking forward to that. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
and I like even if it's a totally different genre, I just don't
Mm.
think I'll care. I
Yeah.
don't know, but I just whatever they want to do, I'm
Hmm.
here for it.
Okay.
And then Hollow Knight Silk Song. I know I said
Yes.
I wasn't ever going to play it, but it was very joking, and I'm very much looking forward to that game, and I want
Yeah.
to play it so badly.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't wait for, I guess, all of those. Um, yeah, Hollow Knight's Silk Song will be a great Switch 2 game when that comes out. Yeah, Intergalactic looks so good. I am a sci-fi person, and I'm
Mm.
also a Naughty Dog person, so I'm very excited for this. I remember when I remember it being rumored, or at least people theorized that Naughty Dog were working on a sci-fi game.
Mm-hmm.
In The Last of Us Part 2, you will have got to this point in the
Mm-hmm.
museum when Ellie puts on the astronaut helmet, and there's that whole thing. I remember people being like, "Oh my god, Naughty Dog should work on a space game."
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited. And then yeah, the trailer for it last year looked so sick. Another great arm tattoo consideration there with like
Yeah.
the octopus or something. Oh, it looks so good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
Um,
not a terrible idea. Very good.
yeah,
And plus, it's like they're saying it's like going to be like a Souls like.
yeah.
Oh, Naughty Dog Souls like is like
Oh,
I
oh,
need it.
yeah. I can't wait to see how they sort of improve upon their gameplay, because it was like it was so good anyway. And I love
Mhm.
the melee gameplay in particular in Last of Us. So yeah, I'm really curious how that sword's going to work. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah. For The Last of Us, I always get like this is totally tangent, but like I always get like people get upset with me because I really love the bow combat.
Oh yeah, I love the bow. I love the
It was
bow.
so
The bow
good.
is so good.
So
I
good.
always use the bow.
Mm-hmm.
In the remaster on the roguelike mode, I always play as Lev when I can, because
Mm.
yeah, because I'm pretty sure Lev starts with a bow, so I'm always using that. Yeah, you're right. I don't know
It's
who's trying to
incredible.
argue that.
Yeah. No, I do always lean towards like bow and arrows if I can avoid
Yeah,
guns, just because I think it's way more fun.
it's way more fun, and like you're inevitably. I always say this about The Last of Us. Grounded is not the best way to play that game.
Mm.
I think that game is plays best on normal or hard, because you want to go into an encounter with a little bit of ammo, but not like zero. Because if you have zero,
Mm-hmm.
you're just going to be stealthing and crawling around, and it's going to take an hour. You want a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of ammo, enough to sort of experiment a little bit with stealth, and then inevitably you're going to fail, and it's going to explode into an improvised action scene, which is the best way to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's so cool. What a
um,
good game.
yeah. Hot take. Last of Us a great game, everyone. What is your memory card game? If you could wipe a game from your memory and experience playing it for the first time again, what game would you choose?
Yeah, so this one I kind of had a really hard time with because like the first thing that came to mind was Dark Souls 3. But if I wiped my memory of that game, like I don't know if I would enjoy the rest of the Souls like games as much
Mm.
as I do, because that one was like my really first like game
Yeah.
that like I really enjoyed that was like that genre. Um I also will say, like, if I can also go back in time as well as wipe my memory,
Sure.
I would say Kingdom Hearts, because
Oh,
I
okay.
think that experiencing Kingdom Hearts as a kid
Yeah.
uh, was so incredible.
Yeah.
Um, my other answers that I think are like you don't have to go back in time or whatever. Outer Wilds.
Mm.
It's such an incredible experience, and once you know, like you know the answer, like you don't even you can just reset the whole thing, start a new game, and like just go to the
Right.
answer. Like you don't really have to
Yeah,
do
the
too
fun
much.
isn't there anymore in that. But
Hmm.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But there's just something so incredible about the ending and the music, like specifically the way that like you experience the music throughout the game. It was so incredible. And I loved that game so much.
Yeah.
The other one I would love to experience again. I don't know if you want to say anything about Outer Wilds
About
just
Outer
for
Wilds,
3 seconds.
very briefly, I've not played it yet. I don't know if you'll
You
have
need to.
heard on Sam's episode. Not played it yet, but I recently bought a notebook just to use for when I'm playing Outer Wilds. And I bought it the other day on Steam, and I think I'm going to do a live stream of it and sort of like record the whole process,
Mm,
jot down some cool stuff. It is a notebook game, right? Did you have a notebook when you played Outer Wilds? Did you not?
I believe that's such a good question. I believe that I did have like some notes. They also take some notes for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, so that game has a really good, like a really cool system where even though it's like resetting, there are like still some notes that are kept
Hmm.
where it's like it tracks the mysteries that you're following.
Okay.
And it kind of has like this weird web thing where you can kind of get away without having notes if you want to be lazy. But I
Mm.
think you'll have a better experience if you have notes, because
Yeah.
I frequently forgot stuff and had to have Sam help me.
Mm.
And be like, hey, like I forgot what I was doing here.
Yeah. I think
So,
yeah, I think I will use a notebook for it because I with blueprints I used
mm,
a notebook for that, and I mean I can't imagine what it would be like to play blueprints without
mm-mm.
one, but almost impossible I assume for some of those
Impossible.
puzzles. Yeah. I think you were saying something on the No Limits podcast about I think it was about the paintings in the rooms.
Yeah.
I won't say anything, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a notebook
Yeah.
will
If you
help
don't have
with
your
that.
notebook for that, like, what
Yeah,
are you gonna do?
yeah. Literally, what are you going to do?
Unless you have perfect memory, there's no way.
Yeah, yeah, unless you do. But I also love the idea of sort of because it is a loop, isn't it? Without
Hmm.
spoilers. So I love the idea of sort of doing one run, one loop, writing down what I learned, what I learned that loop, and then
Like a reflection. Yeah,
yeah,
that's really
exactly,
cool.
like a
Yeah, you
journal.
should.
Yeah, I'll have fun with that one.
It's gonna be such a good experience. I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that's why I've been putting it off because everyone like keeps bigging it up. So I'm like, okay, I need to
mm,
lower my expectations, just go in blind. But I will be doing that soon. So yeah,
yeah,
can't
you
wait.
should.
Yeah.
You absolutely should, because that's such an incredible experience too. Um, the other one that I was gonna say is Stanley Parable.
Oh, okay.
I love that game so
It's
much.
a great game.
And like I still will just randomly boot up that game and go into the broom closet just to like piss off the narrator. I love the broom closet ending so much. It's so funny.
Oh
Peak
yeah,
comedy right there.
I forgot there was an actual broom closet ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is it really,
Oh,
but
I
like
guess I see
there
what you
kind
mean.
of is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he calls it because like when he's mocking you, he's like, "You're gonna tell your friends, oh, I got the broom closet ending," or whatever.
Oh, that's
And he like
yeah.
gets mad, or like when he's like starts yelling like, hey, this person's dead at the keyboard. Like, can you come get them, like stuff like that. Or like eventually if you keep going into the broom closet, they'll lock the broom closet eventually so
Oh,
you
okay.
can't go in. It's so funny. I
That's
love
good.
the broom closet so much.
Yeah, that whole game is like genius meta writing at its best, really.
Mm-hmm.
I've not played that game since I first played it, probably. Oh, well, since my first playthrough, and I got a few of the endings, I think, before
Mm.
before deciding that's enough for now.
I can't tell you how many times I've played that game.
Really.
Like it never loses its sparkle for me.
Hmm,
Um, so maybe I don't have to like erase my memory of it,
hmm.
but like I don't know, like it's just I need to open the deluxe edition is what I need to do.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Have you played the deluxe? I've not played it either.
Not yet, but I'm sure I will. I'm quite confident in that one.
Yeah.
Just because I love that game so much.
Did you get the ending where you have to like jump on a desk and then walk out
And jump out the window?
Yeah. I love that one. Oh,
such a good one. Such a good one. There's there's so much incredible stuff. Like the references to like so many other video games and like random pieces. And yeah, I don't know if you saw also, there's like the YouTube video that the creators made where they had the narrator create like the Stanley. Oh, hold on, let me look it up. YouTube. I know I've seen this video like a million times and I cannot remember. I think it's like Stanley Parable Everything Edition or something.
Okay.
But basically they did this like ironic. I'll have to look it up for you and send it to you. I cannot remember the name of it right now. But they made this YouTube video because they received a complaint, like an actual complaint from somebody that played the game that was like, you can't do whatever you want in the game, was basically like this complaint, but it was just really long letter. So they had the narrator like very mockingly read the letter. And then they were like, well, we're taking your feedback into consideration and we're going to make this like edition where you can do whatever you want. And it is the funniest video. I'll have to find it.
That sounds good. Finally, what is one game you think everyone should play? The game you answer with will be placed into the Hall of Games for future generations, as well as future content for this podcast. So far, the entries are Age of Empires 1 and 1,000 Times Resist. What is
an
your
incredible
answer?
game.
Thank you.
1,000 Times Resist is
I said thank you
game.
like I made that game. Such a good game.
Honestly incredible game. This is the question I think that made me like the most, like, I don't want to say like nervous, but I was like, oh, this is such a hard question because like there's so many games that I really feel like everybody should play, that like are games that I've already brought up.
That's okay.
And you can go so many places with it, right? Like, do you want to highlight a game that like not a lot of people have played? Do you just want to like, you know what, I know people have heard of this, but I just love this game so much, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's completely your choice how you take it.
Yeah, and I'm really bad with making choices.
Sorry.
No. This was the one that before we recorded, I was explaining to him that I like gave myself a list. This is the question that I like kind of gave myself a list. That's like, I don't know what I'm gonna say in practicality, because I like just can't decide, and so now I actually have to decide. And I have my list in front of me.
You can list. I don't know how long your list is, but you can list them all, and then we can like work our way down.
It's like 50 games.
Yeah.
No. I think I have like 5. Yeah. So I have Outer Wilds, Kingdom Hearts, Tunic, Nier, and Dark Souls 3. Those are like the 5 that I kind of pulled. I did have Inscription on this list previously, but I removed it just because I was like, I do think everybody should play Inscription, but it's also kind of a bizarre experience that it's like, if you want to experience this, you should, and if you don't, it's fine.
I completely get that reasoning. Great game though. Love that game.
It's so good. I love that game so much. Let's see. I'm also tempted to do Tunic because it's a really I feel like not a lot of people talk about that game. But it's like, it's a love letter to The Legend of Zelda, but it's also a love letter to the way that games are made. The way that the manual is used in that game, because have you played this game?
I played a little bit of Tunic. I think it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Wait, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I think I played it for like not very long, 2 hours or something, and I just don't think there was anything there that like grabbed me, but I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, that's so okay. This is kind of why I was thinking about this game, is because like that happened to Sam Heaney as well, where he just was like, I don't know about this game, and he like finally went back and I think beat it, but he still was kind of iffy on the game. I think that the game is so cool because it's very much like a love letter to Legend of Zelda. It feels like you are just playing a Legend of Zelda, but you're just like a little fox. It's like, it feels like a fox pretending to be Link kind of thing. And so it you are like not too far in the game, then you're kind of like, this is what the game is, right? That's like what the game is at first glance.
Yeah.
But the manual that you receive in the game is missing pages. And the more pages you recover, you actually find that you have abilities that you had the whole time. You just didn't know
Oh,
how to do
okay.
them.
Okay.
So you start, that's how you upgrade, is like you learn that there's
Right.
like more controls that you literally didn't know about, or there's like this
Oh.
spot that has like an opening that you didn't know about because
Mm.
like the manual has the information. And then there's also
Mm.
secrets inside of the manual, and I won't spoil those,
Yeah.
but there are literally things that people, you like it's very meta. Like you have to start like, you like can go to the internet and like Google, like they have like a website on like one of the pages, and like yeah, it's really really cool, and it like really unfolds once you start getting more pages. So
You might have sold me to try that game again because I said this to Sam last episode. One of my favorite games of last year was Animal Well, and
mm,
the way in which you learn new abilities in that game is very similar. How obviously you pick up the toys, but you discover as you play that there's several ways to use those toys, which
mm.
again, like you say, have access to right from the start. Did you play Animal Well as well?
I bought it and I played a very short amount of time,
Mhm.
but then like there was like 10 other games that like kind of
Yeah.
like all came out around that time, and I was like, "Ah, I can't play this game fast enough." So
Well,
I haven't even, there's so many games that came out right then. It was like
yeah.
that one, Another Crap's Treasure,
Okay.
Nine Souls, like all of those games kind of like
Yeah.
stacked on top of each other, and it's just yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a similar. Yeah, I had a similar thing last year. Actually, great game for indies in particular last year.
Mm,
Um, yeah, the two that sort of I managed to pick out were Animal Well and A Thousand Times Resist. Fortunately,
mm,
um, yeah. Going from what you said about Tunic, you should definitely give Animal Well another try. I think I'll be buying it again on the Switch too because I want to be playing it anywhere.
mm,
Yeah, it's really cool game.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna try Tunic again because of you.
Please do
So
let me know.
tell you what,
Let
I'm
me know
gonna
if you enjoy
decide
it.
for you. I'm gonna decide for you. We're putting Tunic as your answer. You can talk about more if you'd like. But
I mean, honestly, I will say, I don't know if this is what Sam was like trying to do, like mind,
Mhm.
like Jedi control through like his episode, but he was like, somebody else will add Outer
He
Wilds.
did say that.
He did say
Yeah.
that, and I was like, is he asking me through like this video to like add Outer Wilds? Because I do think that everybody should play Outer Wilds,
Okay.
but like I also am very resistant to being told what to do. So I'm like,
Okay.
I'm on to
Yeah.
you, sir. I don't even know
Well,
if that's what he was doing, but
I don't know because I think at the time of recording I don't think I'd asked you at that point. No, I hadn't asked you at that point. So and I didn't
mm-mm.
tell him that I was going to ask you necessarily. So he might not have been doing that. I don't know. Maybe he just knew that I was going to ask you to come on. So it's a
You know
possibility.
what? He's very tricky. He's very slippery. So I would not put it past him for real.
Oh dear.
I'm not saying he did it for sure, but
Hmm.
it's not a zero chance.
Oh dear.
um, and then of course, like the other one that I think that's like a huge consideration for me is Near.
Hmm.
I love this game so much to the point that I like wrote college papers on it.
Oh yeah, nice.
And like I just think that the concept that's presented to you inside the game, which for those people who don't know, it's kind of the concept of like what makes something human, and like kind of what makes something like, it's it sounds very arbitrary, but it makes sense if you play the game.
Hmm.
But it's like, what's a robot versus what's an android? Because
Hmm.
the androids look down on the robots because they can't feel things, but then the robots very start to clearly show that they like can feel pain. So it's like this really weird thing where it's like these two groups are fighting each other for the humans who have been extinct for thousands of years.
Hmm.
And so it's like, what's the point of this fight anymore? And like, what does it mean to be a robot? What does it mean to be an android? Like, what does it mean to be human? Like those kinds of concepts. And
That's
the
cool.
music is incredible. The characters incredible. The story is incredible. There is, I believe, 25 endings to that game.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And they're listed like alphabetically, like there's like an ending A, ending B, ending
Oh
C,
my god.
like that whole thing. So you can, if you end up ever playing this game for whatever reason, you can Google like spoiler-free guide to all endings, and it will
Mm.
tell you very like surface level what you have to do to get each ending.
Mm.
The reason I'm hesitant to do this one is because I actually personally have not played all of the endings,
Mm.
which is not really a surprise because I don't beat games. But the game still obviously meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's okay. I think if you've got at least one ending, I think that counts.
I think I've done like 5
then
endings.
I would say that's fine to say, but it's up to you. I will be playing
Uh,
that game soon. What is the? I don't actually know which one's the first chronologically. Is it Near Automata? Automata?
no, it's the other one. I
Replicant?
literally
No.
Replicant, yes.
Yeah, Replicant.
Replicant came out like the remake came out later, but
Mm,
it's technically like chronologically
right,
before
but it's just a remake
Nier.
of the original or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly like I think you're okay playing either first. In fact, I may encourage you to play like Automata first.
Yeah.
Just because it's older.
Mm,
And so like it's not that the game is clunky, but I think that if you were to go from the newer version,
mm,
like because they have almost the same like kind of combat system and stuff. So I think if you were to go from one to the other, like you might feel that jump backwards, unless
yeah,
there's like a time gap. I don't know.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, because both of those have been on my list for about a year now.
Hmm.
Um, and
As
I
they should
do,
be.
yeah, I do really need to play them. I probably will end up doing Replicant first because
Mhm.
it's just more chance of latching onto me if the combat is like slicker and looks
That makes
better and
sense.
stuff. So I'll
That makes
probably.
sense. Okay.
Also,
I have to pick.
I'm generally a really sort of person for
Mm,
anything. I know obviously Replicant came out after, but story wise, I like to experience a story the way it's been written or
mhm.
released.
I will say neither game is the first game, if that
Oh,
helps at all.
wait, wait, which is the
Nier
first
is
one?
actually a spin-off of another series whose name I cannot remember right now.
Oh my god.
And there's actually like a whole I did not play any of these games. They're very old at this point, and you can just watch
Yeah.
YouTube videos that kind of explain. But they're games that kind of explain what happened to humanity and like how we got here. Which is why I don't consider like humanity being extinct like as a spoiler, just because it's like
Yeah.
it's part of like the lead up to Nier.
Yeah, I did know
Um, so
that.
yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
There's a bunch of games I literally can't remember the names of them right now.
That's crazy.
Uh,
I didn't know that.
Nier, uh, Nier Universe. Let's see. Drakengard. That's what they're called.
Oh, I did not know that. You
Yeah.
caught me with slack in there. Tracking down.
It's okay. I had no idea either until
That's really cool.
yeah,
Well,
the first one came out on PS2 a very long time
mm,
ago.
okay. Well, I will not be going back and playing
Okay,
Drakengard on PS2. I'll start with
fair
Replicant.
enough. Fair
Um,
enough.
so yeah, what are you going to answer with then?
Honestly, all of this talking about Nier, I think I'm going to answer Nier. Nier
Okay.
Automata. I think it's something that everybody really should experience. It's like it's one of those games where that you can play by yourself in like this like I don't know, that's like my ideal experience for it. Like is like you're just playing by yourself, like you're kind of isolated, just like experiencing this world, living in this world, letting the story kind of fold out organically before you and like I don't know. There's so many little cool things and I think that this game has truly like influenced like ironically influenced a lot of games, but also truthfully like influenced a lot of games. I'm sure you've heard like all the memes. Like the main character's name is 2B and people call her 2 Booty because like the guy made her very thick on purpose. And when you
I
climb
did-
up and
I
down
don't know.
ladders, you can look at her butt like full on just
Yes.
and that's like this is honestly it's what Stellar Blade is based on like story wise. It's
Mm,
what Stellar Blade is based
yeah.
on like just like the music is very very much inspired by Nier, like the whole thing top down, and they said so. They were like, this is a love letter to Nier Automata.
Mm.
Um, so I don't know. Nier has had a very lasting influence, in my opinion, on the industry, and that will be my answer.
That's a great answer. I love that. And I'll definitely play that at some point, so that's good as well. And I'm afraid that's all the questions that I've got for you. Thank you so much for putting aside some time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I had so much fun. Thanks for asking me. It was really like fun, especially like the first game console and game and stuff. Like it was fun uncovering those answers or like searching within myself for all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me.
No, anytime. Yeah, maybe if I've said this to Sam as well, if I can think of some more questions, I'll get you on again and we'll do another memory card 2.0.
We'll do like a okay, now we're back.
Yeah. And before we go, one final question on behalf of the listeners, where can they find you?
You can find me most places. Like I don't really use Twitter, but you can technically find me there. I've never used it. I'm just not savvy with it at all.
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, and I believe this is my name on Twitch right now too. It's Fabulous Breanna, Fabulist, Breanna. I know my name is not spelled the normal Breanna way, but that is how my name is spelled. So there you go.
Okay, there you have it, everyone. Go follow Bree on everything. I wish you all a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time on the Hall of Games podcast.
Bye.
So that was episode 3 of the Hall of Games podcast. Thank you all for listening, and thank you to Bree for a brilliant memory card interview. I've decided to make all episodes of this podcast available in audio or video format for all users. By the time the next episode releases, there will be a Patreon membership which will help support the podcast, and in return you'll get access to extended episodes of the Hall of Games podcast, meaning more memory card questions for our guests, as well as a few other benefits, so keep an eye out for that. You can find me pretty much anywhere as Sam Hall of Games. Thank you to Blue Fields for the music. Go play some games, and I'll see you next time on the Hall of Games podcast.